The eerste in die Welt. The eerste in die Welt. No, that's not my Swedish chef impersonation. That's what's in the crate. That's German for the first in the world. In this crate, whatever it is, was put in there in Nuremberg, West Germany, probably late 1974, early 1975. Said to be the first production rotary engine motorcycle in the world. I don't know if that's exactly true, because Suzuki had the 75 RE5, which was water cooled. Later advertisements would say that the Sachs-Wankel was the first air-cooled rotary engine in the world. So no, I don't know which nomenclature is correct, or both. But this time capsule, my friends, untouched, came from Rotary Cycles of Ohio, which was the distributor, Sam Costanzo, later reincorporated as Rotary Recycle. This is one of his original bikes, never removed from the crate since its packing in 1975. Want to learn more? Follow me. Here's a Sachs-Wankel cutaway motor. This is how a rotary engine works. Inside, you have just this triangular shaped rotor set in a concentric shaped chamber. As the apex of the rotor turns, it gets a fresh charge of air fuel mixture from the carburetor, pushes it over to the combustion side, and after ignition and power, pushes the waste out the exhaust port. Critical is the seal between the seal of the rotor and the chamber. There's a metal-like flat piece of hardened steel, which is like a piston ring. They call that the seal. And there's also seals on the side to seal the rotor against the end plate. You mix fuel and gas either through an injection pump or you pre-mix it. That's why some people confuse these with a two-stroke. But a two-stroke engine fires every second stroke. That's not what this is. This fires actually every third revolution of the rotor. So I call it a 1/3 stroke. But don't use two-stroke oil in your Wankel motors. That will gum up the seal, which needs to move freely in that groove. There's a spring behind it. I use what the book called for is low ash regular oil. I use Castrol GTX. You can get a special rotary engine oil developed for Mazda. I think it's called Indemnitsu. And I think there's a Shell oil in Europe that's designated well for Wankel engines. That's the cutaway, but wait, I have more. This is the prototype motor. See, it's pull start from what was, and that's a poster of their initial first prototype. I forget which show it was unveiled on. Looks like a Gramica 4-shoe front brake on it. Current models, well, current as of production models, let's say, had Gramica disc brakes. Looks to have a transmission of what's in the production models, which I'm told was developed by KTM. Here's a little history. This is the dealer book. Here's an English advertisement. first in the world. This is the dealer book from Rotary Cycles in Ohio. This is an application to become a dealer. And the dealership agreement, this is where that crated bike came from. Here's how many you have to take to become a dealer. Here's the list price. Suggested retail, $2,095. Dealer cost, $1,695. Here you could buy a moped for $375. It's funny they don't show the 250 Enduro in 75, but here's the 175, $1,390. $1,325 for the 125. Assembly, how to take it out of the crate, which, by the way, I don't think I'm gonna do, but let's go pull the sheet. What does it look like sitting there for 45 years? Well, it's a little grungy, but you know what? Before we unveil it, let's take a look at what it should look like. This is an oil injected version. This came out a year or two later. The only difference is there's a oil pump driven from the transmission. You have an oil tank with some modifications to the frame to mount the oil tank. It's got you those different side covers, and the gas tank has a pass-through to fill the oil tank. There's your Formica disc brakes, Terriani forks, Bosch electrics, Bing carburetor, VDO gauges, CEV lighting. This was state of the art. This particular example has 1,800 miles. This has been my personal bike for a long time. Here's what they look like after sitting in the crate for 45 years. A little grungy, but you would clean up. The question is, do I take it out of the crate to clean it up and then try to put it back in? But then I've removed it from its factory setting. Once I do that, how can one know it is what it purports to be? I mean, I could take a bike like that, put a bunch of new old stock parts on it, stick it in an old crate, and say it's what it is. Here, you can tell it is what it purports to be, and that's why I haven't removed it. I thought about cleaning it with S100 in the crate, because I'd like to get some of that grunge off, but other people like to see that 45 years of grunge. It's its own certificate of authenticity. Look how the luggage rack strap is all deteriorated. I have them, new by the way. The other thing that's interesting is they come with 0.3 miles on it, right from the factory. They're tested at the factory before they're created. And I wondered, well, what did they do? They fluid it all up? Well, they do, because obviously there was brake fluid in that master cylinder, and over the years it seeped out. Luckily, the fuel tank is spotless. I suspect they had gas in it and drained it for shipping, unless they ran a test tank. This is nice. The decals aren't all flaking off and dried out like they normally get. There you have your, I suppose it says special for rotary engine pistons. I guess it's a special break-in oil. So wait, how do you know I didn't just take a bike and stick it in a crate? Well, I have more to show you. Ta-da! See, it's not just any crate. It's the factory crate. I've got all 4 panels. See? There's two panels in one. It's funny, the top panels have a part number. I think that's for the bike. The other interesting thing is Sam wrote the VIN number on the tag, 480000228. You can tell that's a premix one that's not injected. When they went to injected, you got a 5000 series. So this is 5036. Whereas this is 00228. There's also a number stamped in the headstock, which I can almost make out. I'll have to take a picture of it, maybe with a borescope, rather than open the crate. So that don't tell you much because it's in the crate, but that's okay, because we're going to take that one out for a ride and you get to experience it for yourself. All right, so let's see how she starts. Fuel, choke, the key, they're all the same. I've seen some thumb daps that have a key like that. Okay, so the first thing you notice is the seating position. It sits like a standard bike of any era, probably a 29-inch or so seat height, not high. I'm flat-footed and I've only got a 30-inch inseam. It's a little wide because the tank is wide. You'll notice it has the crankshaft effect like a Moto Guzzi. I'm exaggerating it here. It's not as pronounced as a Moto Guzzi, but as you gas it, it does kind of wiggle to the left. I mean to the right. Haha, I don't know my left and my right. I love the sounds of these things. Second, it's not a brap like a two-stroke, but it's brappy. It doesn't hum like you'd think, because it's kind of raspy. It doesn't sound torquey like a four-stroke. I call it, it's kind of like the cross between a hum and a brap. I I don't know if that's a brum or a crack. Brakes work really well. It's warmed up now that I don't have to keep it running. I keep missing the shift into second. There's second. Third. Fourth. And we're gonna get a stop sign, so we won't get 6. But you'll get the idea. Now I'm running on the original tires, so we ain't gonna go crazy here. Nope, sorry, no dirt roads for me. A little bit sloppy at the low end, like a 2-stroke, until that rotor gets going. Good turn around here. Easy turning radius. A lot of these tachometers bounce around quite a bit. They were known to be problematic. This one's working well. Oh, look at that. My speedometer's not working. Oh. Have to figure that one out. So much for the 1,800 miles, huh? There I got second. Hear a little bit of engine noise when they idle, and it's not as smooth an idle as you would have thought. Kind of a brum 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 brum. And that's all perfectly normal.